Wade Davis, our guest, The Sacred Headwaters, The Fight to Save the Stikine, Skeena, and Nass. His book, a collaboration, really. David Suzuki wrote the foreword. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrote the backward or the afterword.
And all the wonderful photographers.
No
from
kidding.
The International League of Conservation Photographers.
Is that the International League of Conservation Photographers? Do they do this for money, for free, for what?
No, and one of the nice things about this book is that nobody makes any money from it, and all proceeds go to the effort to help the Tahltan people protect their land. The International League of Conservation Photographers is a wonderful thing where they will raise foundation money and then bring together the best photographers in the world. The photographers get all these opportunities to build up their portfolios, helicopter time and so on. They get to keep their images, but the images are always available for conservation.
Well, one of my favorite pictures in this book is yours. I didn't know, you know, I didn't know. I picked it before I knew. It was your picture, and it's beside a quote by James Dennis. I think, is it Coldfish Lake? Mm-hmm. Your horse?
Well, it's Reggie Collingwood's horse, but that's one I used to use when I was a guide up there.
Okay. Tell me about James Dennis.
Remarkable man. I mean, at Iskut, which is one of the there are three poles of Tahltan life, if you will, Telegraph Creek, Dees Lake, and Iskut, which is a community I'm closest with. And I'd say there are two really remarkable surviving elders, Loveman Knoll and James Dennis. And these are men who literally grew up on the land.
Yes.
And James Dennis trapped through the Spatsizi all of his youth with his father. And you know, he's a wonderful elder, and he said something really interesting to me. You know, he said, this land is our kitchen, and they don't understand that. How would they feel if we poisoned their kitchen? And he once said to me, what if we had a rule? What if we got all their kids up with all our kids, got all the adults out of the way, and the kids made a deal? You know, for every tree that they cut on our territory, a rose bush gets chopped down in Rosedale in Toronto. You know, for every drop of toxic waste that goes into one of our lakes, a similar drop goes into a swimming pool at the local rec center in West Vancouver. Now, to the urban ear, that sounds ridiculous, but it's exactly what James means when he says, this is our kitchen. You know, we can't go to the grocery store. You know, these are a hunting people. Fish and meat gathered from the wild remains the basis of their diet and the foundation of their culture. And so when he says, you know, and I remember his wife, ex-wife, my friend Oscar's mother Mary, standing up once in the blockade and just invoking the spirits and saying, I'm a Tahltan woman, I can still go out to the bush, I can still trap. You know, this is my land. Rita Louie, the diminutive wife of the former chief, Louie, a wonderful woman who I've known for years as a sort of shy, retiring, small little woman, invariably polite. I remember her standing up at this ceremony where all the First Nations put water from all of their rivers into the same cedar bent box to signify and symbolize their unity in protecting the sacred headwaters. Peoples of 10 different First Nations. And she just looked to the horizon. She said, my mind is in every mountain. The hearts of my children are in every mountain. This is where we belong. And you know, I think it's important for us to realize that's not, we get saturated with this kind of almost rhetoric of the earth, you know, and the language of the environmental movement, and our eyes can almost glaze. But when these men and women who grew up in the land say that, they are speaking from a point of authenticity that we should respect. I
remember when you wrote a piece for the Times or the Washington Post or something about hunters and gatherers, and mostly about hunters in the north and how that was their kitchen. And all hunting isn't bad.
Oh, on the contrary, hunting is the origin of religion.
As I recall.
Hunting is the origin of religion. I mean, you know, the fantastic thing is that in a non-agricultural society, the individual has to kill the thing he loves most, the animals upon which he depends. And in a way, religion was born of the hunt and the need to rationalize that terrible fact that to live you had to kill the thing you love most. And what is religion but a way of dealing with the inexorable mystery that death implies? So you see these amazing relationships with. I've been with Native people there who you will be riding a horse along and you can't see anything. There's an esker, and suddenly an old elder will say, got him right in my eye, can't get away now. And you go over that rise on your horse and there's a big caribou. And I'm telling you, in the same way that you can hear the voices of a character when you read a novel, people in these hunting traditions can hear the voices of animals in the natural world. I truly believe that.
It's truly amazing. I've had the experience a couple of times, not like you, but amazing. James Dennis says here, I started hunting and trapping with my dad in 1945. Snowshoes, everything was on foot. We used to go about 75 miles a day. 75 miles a day. We were just like wolves. We lived off the country, powerful and strong. And when you're doing something right for your people, you have no fear in your heart. Our land is not for sale.
I remember when they blockaded the one road access to the interior, and it was July month, and there was a lot of solidarity and a lot of goodwill and a great sense of cultural revival implicit in that action of civil disobedience. And there was one grumble, though. It was July, and that's when the sockeye were running on the lower Stikine, and everybody wanted to be down there, right? So then guess what happens? A big 18-wheel double tandem trailer comes roaring down the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, conveniently rolls over right at the base of Tawdigan Mountain, the mountain they're trying to protect. The driver's not hurt, but his load spills all over the highway. Guess what it is?
Salmon.
Alaskan salmon, destined for the Seattle market. The salmon came to the people, and within 24 hours, the entire boreal forest was golden with salmon drying in the trees.
Wow, that's good. That's a movie. But the pictures in this book of salmon and live salmon, dead salmon, the salmon rivers.
I think the most important thing to say to our fellow Canadians is go there. You know, I met with Premier Campbell when he was still in office, and I actually really admired Premier Campbell. I think he's a very smart man, and I like him. But I was surprised to learn that our own Premier had never visited a quarter of our province. You know, Canadians love the idea of the North, but we never go there. And it's important that we do go there. And one of the ideas of this book was, if we can't get people to go and see the beauty of this place, let's bring the beauty of the place to the people, at least in book form. And
you certainly have. Let's look at some of the pictures. You look at the monitor, you can tell me all about them. Rivers and forest, mountains.
Well, that's the Craig River on the lower Stikine. Again, all these rivers run free to the sea, and it's worth remembering that in the lower 48, there's only one river, the Yellowstone, that flows more than 1,000 miles uncompromised by dams.
In my home state.
Yeah, this is a little connector shot from the air, the connector creek between Kinniscan Lake and Tatoga.
And is that true color?
True color.
So it's not glacially fed or anything?
This is the actual meadows of the actual Sacred Headwaters, which is just, again, it's not just that these rivers are born in the same meadows. These rivers were the arteries that gave rise to the great civilization of the Northwest Coast. Each of these rivers is associated with First Nations. So the Stikine with the Tahltan and the Tlingit, and the Skeena with the Carrier, Gitsan-Wet'suwet'en, the Haisla, even the Haida, because the waters of the Skeena flow out to the islands. And of course the Nass is the homeland of the Nishka. So these are the rivers that cradled the greatest civilization ever to be formed from the human imagination without benefit of agriculture.
Any move to sell some of these pictures individually? I know we can buy the book.
I think they're all available, and all proceeds from the sales would go to the cause.
Okay, and the cause, if somebody wanted to contribute, say, to the cause, Forest Ethics, whom?
Well, Forest Ethics is a wonderful organization in British Columbia that's helping us a great deal. You can, there's a website, www.sacredheadwaters.com.
Right.
People can go to my own website, www.daviswade.com, and there's on the blog post, we keep constant updates of everything going on.
Okay. Well, I know you so well. I know your first name is really Edmund.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, don't tell us all. Whatever's on the passport works, right? So, National Geographic, are you, once you're an explorer with National Geographic for life?
It seems to be, so far so good. I remain in that position as explorer in residence, having to explain that title often to many people.
I'm sure. And in Washington, D.C., are you close to a President Obama? Do you get audience with an Obama? Or
I was a big supporter of Obama, but it's not like we're hanging out at the White House, that's for sure.
Well, who knows? Maybe next year.
We're actually looking to
Maybe
come
not.
home. We're actually looking forward to coming home to British Columbia.
Really? Moving back here to British Columbia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same house? No, on Bowen Island?
We have a house on Bowen Island, and I'm hoping to get a professorship at UBC.
You probably will. I'm thinking. Just saying. Well, nice to see you again.
Thanks, Fanny.
Thank you. The
Thanks so
Sacred
much.
Headwaters, The Fight to Save the Stikine, Skeena, and Nass, Wade Davis, Principal Photography. Is it Carr Clifton?
Carr Clifton.
Carr Clifton, forward by David Suzuki, and afterward by Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.